Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Why don't you come on here and sit down with me, and let's open our Bibles up today. And we're going to study Psalm 139, and beginning there in verse 7. Now, we're going to take kind of a big bite or bigger bite today than we have over the last couple of days. So today is going to be verses 7 through 10. Now, David's going to take us on a trip. Are you ready for a little adventure? This is, what do they call it when you're in school and you take a field trip? That's it. We're going on a field trip today. And this field trip is going to supplement what we have learned about God's knowledge. Because remember, in 1 through 6, we had all that knowledge described, how He intimately knows every one of us. And it's just not us, but as the Hebrew evangelist tells us, it's everything. You know, there's not a creature that's not manifest in His sight. Okay, so now we're going to take our field trip, and where is it that we're going to go? Well, why don't we read 7 through 10, and then we'll talk about where we're headed, okay? So if you got your Bible open there, 139, let's look beginning in verse 7. Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Or whither shall I flee from thy presence? If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there thy hand shall lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. Okay, so 7 through 10. Thy right hand shall hold me. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so where are we headed? Well, David asks a question there in verse 7. Where? Whither? Is a good translation for that is just where. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? Do you know anybody, or maybe you yourself, have at one time decided that you were just going to run away from God, and you didn't want anything to do with Him, and so no more church, no more Bible, no more Christian friends. You were going to make your way in the world without God. Is that possible? Is it really possible? Yeah, where can you go? You can't go anywhere really, can you? Remember the parable of the 99 sheep, and the shepherd goes and looks for the one that got away, and he finds him. Remember that? Leaves the 99 and goes and finds the one. How can he go and find the one? Well, because can you really ever leave the shepherd of your soul? That's a good question. Now, I referenced that verse when we were talking about that God understands our thoughts from a distance. So my thought is, I think I'm going to try to find out where I can go from His presence. So let's take our field trip. The first place David stops is in heaven. If I ascend to the heavens. So let's take a rocket ship. Let's say one of those SpaceX rocket ships, and blast off and go to the moon. Do we get away from God if we go to the moon? What if we take one of those rocket ships and we blast off and we go to Mars? Can we get away from God if we go to Mars? Can we get away from Him if we go to one of the moons of Saturn, for example? Or what about if we go all the way to the end of the universe, or the end of the solar system, and go to Pluto and Neptune and all those little places out there all the way at the end of the solar system? What if we got on a rocket ship and we went all the way across that great divide to the next solar system, and there we found planets and suns and moons and all that? Will we get away from Him? No. Why is that? Because He made it all, didn't He? If I ascend to the heavens, the psalmist says, you're there. If I make my bed in hell. Now again, the bed comes in here, doesn't it? He knows our bedtime. He told us that, up there in, when He's talked about, He knows my lying down, my sitting and my rising. He knows my thoughts from afar, my couch, that is the bed. He knows bedtime. Now it's making my bed in hell. I make my bed in hell. Well, you're there too. I like my translation. Can I share it with you? Here's my translation. Or I make my bed in hell, behold you. So he's there. It's like He's surprised. Heavens, He's there. Hell, oh yeah, He's there too. But He's everywhere. So that's the second stop on our field trip. Let's take our third stop. Verse 9. I lift up the wings of heaven. There in verse 9. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the remotest part of the sea. Okay, so that's where I'm headed now. So I'm going to fly out to the remotest part of the sea. I can't go up and get away from you. I can't go down and get away from you. So I'm going to go away this way. As far as the east is from the west, is that possible? I'm going to take that and go to the remotest part of the sea. Then in verse 10, even there shall thy hand lead me. So the hand of God is on him even there. And then notice verse 10, the second part of that couplet. He says, and thy right hand shall hold me. Trying to get away from God. But God says, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to lead you. I'm going to hold you because I'm the one that's hemmed you in. I'm the one that knows your thoughts. I'm there before you ever get there. You cannot get away from him. So this is God's sovereignty, even over the vanity of our own pride when we think we can escape him. We don't want to be near him. We don't want to think about his commands or his justice, or we don't want to think about his mercy and his long-suffering. We just want to be done. But nope, can't get away, can't escape. Field trip's over. This is the lesson. God is everywhere. He's there, and not only is he there, but he's there to lead us and to hold us. Okay, join me again tomorrow, and we're going to look at verses 11 and 12 here on Daily Dose Radio.